If you're not using locators in your sessions, keep watching.
This is a quick Ableton tip.
Hello, my name is Jordan Postorino, and welcome to another installment of Quick Ableton Tips. Today, what we are going to be talking about is the locator. Locators are really powerful in Ableton, and I've got a few different ways that I use them, and that's what I'll be showing you today. The first way I use locators, and how I think most people would use locators in their sessions, is to delineate different sections of their music. So for instance, you might have one called intro, you might have another one called verse, you might have one called chorus, so on and so forth. Another way that I like to use locators before I've got any sort of concrete arrangement set out for my session is to just name them after whatever might be going on in that section at a given time. So for instance, this little intro section of my beat is just snare, hats, and guitar. Sounds like this. And then I've got kind of a main beat section, which sounds like this. I've got a main beat B, or a variation on the main beat, which sounds like this. I've got a kick, snare, bass, and guitar section, which sounds like this. And I've got a bass guitar section, which sounds like this. So I may not know what sections are what yet, but what I can do with the locators, and this is one of the ways that you can audition arrangement ideas, is to click the actual locator while the song is playing. And no matter where you are on your session timeline, it will jump to that locator in time. So say I wanted to go from main beat B to this bass and guitar part. I could just click the bass and guitar locator at any time and it'll jump in time. Check this out. So like I said, this is a great way to audition arrangement ideas if you haven't totally got a concrete arrangement. Another way that I like to use locators is to export my work once I'm finished. So a way that a lot of people will export in Ableton is using the loop brace. I think people are confused about that. The loop brace isn't the thing that determines what's being exported. It's actually just whatever you've got highlighted in the session. So if I highlighted this much of the timeline, everything here would get exported. Now, the way that I like to highlight things for export, whether it be I'm bouncing my song or I'm stemming something out for someone else, is actually using these locators and where they're planted in the session. So let's pretend for a second that this is my arrangement. I'm going to bounce it as is. What I'll do is I'll click on my master track anywhere after my last locator. And then what I'll do is I'll hold Option and I'll click backspace on my keyboard. Now what's happened is my sort of cursor has now jumped to my last locator. Now what I'll do is hold Option as well as Shift, and I'll backspace through the entire arrangement. You can see it's highlighting each region in between each locator. So once I've gotten to my last locator, or in this case it would be my first one at the beginning of the song, now I know that I've got everything I want to bounce or export highlighted in my session. The other amazing thing about this is that if you were to say by mistake keep going past whatever your first locator in the session is, holding Option Shift, I can't actually backspace further than that. So it keeps you from highlighting more in your session than you actually may want to highlight, which is a great sort of fail-safe if you accidentally hit another backspace or something. So yeah, these are a few different ways that I like to use locators in my Ableton sessions. If you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when more videos like this come out. My name is Jordan. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.